Aliens never expected Deathworlder to respond to their distress call. Stars were weak here and strange radiation storms came without warning. The convoy had chosen this route only to save time. That choice almost ended them. The first attack came without sound. Energy bolts tore through the lead transport ship. Shields failed in seconds. Hull plates melted like thin ice. Alarms filled the alien ships, sharp and panicked. The attackers were raiders, long feared but rarely seen. They used fast ships and brutal tactics. They did not want cargo. They wanted survivors to sell or silence. The convoy tried to escape. Engines pushed beyond safe limits. One ship exploded when its drive core cracked. Another drifted away, powerless and silent. Within minutes, the convoy was broken. Commander Talron watched the damage reports scroll across his console. His skin had turned pale with fear. His hands shook as he tried to focus. "Signal all nearby systems," he said. "Request immediate aid." The communication officer obeyed. Distress calls went out to known trade hubs, to patrol fleets, to allied worlds. One by one, replies came back. Some said the region was too dangerous. Some said their ships could not arrive in time. Some did not reply at all. The raiders pulled back for a moment, circling like hunters. They knew the convoy could not run. Talron felt the weight of command press down on him. He knew what came next. When raiders waited, it meant they were patient. It meant they wanted fear to grow. "Send a general distress call," Talron said quietly, "to all known frequencies." The officer hesitated. "Even unregistered worlds." Talron closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered the warnings he had heard in council chambers. Stories of worlds marked in red, worlds labeled unstable. "Yes," he said, "even them." The final message was sent. It carried their location, their condition, and a simple plea for help. Most believed no one would answer. Far away, in a calm region of space, a human listening station orbited a quiet blue star. It was not large or powerful. It was old but reliable. Humans had learned long ago that simple systems were easier to fix. The station was staffed by a small crew on a long rotation. Captain Luke Carter floated near the main console, reviewing routine reports. His dark hair was tied back. His face showed lines from years of stress and thought. He liked quiet shifts. Engineer Ben Turner was nearby, working on a panel that did not really need fixing. He just preferred to keep his hands busy. Medic Claire Evans sat at a small desk, reading a worn data pad. She had highlighted sections and added notes. She believed preparation saved lives. The comm broke when a soft alert sounded. Ben looked up. "That channel is rarely used." Luke pushed himself toward the console. "What is it?" The screen filled with strange symbols. The signal was weak, full of static, but the distress pattern was clear. Claire stood and moved closer. "That is not human," Luke nodded. "Translate what you can." The station computer worked through the message. Words appeared slowly, imperfect but understandable. "This is a civilian convoy. We are under attack. Engines failing. Life support damaged. Request immediate assistance." Coordinates followed. Ben whistled softly. "That is deep fringe space. Nasty place." Luke studied the location. He knew the area. Old charts marked it with warning notes. Radiation storms, unstable gravity, limited rescue chance. "Why would they route through there?" Ben asked. "Probably trade deadlines," Claire said. "People take risks when survival depends on speed." Luke stayed silent. He looked at the estimated time stamp. The signal was recent, too recent to ignore. "Fleet Command will say no," Ben said. "That area is flagged." Luke tapped the console, sending the data to their ship docked nearby, a small human vessel designed for long-range response. "Fleet Command is not here," Luke said. "We are." Claire looked at him. She knew that tone. "You want to respond." Luke turned to face his crew. "We do not know who they are, but they asked for help." Ben crossed his arms. "We are not a warship." "We do not need to be," Luke replied. "We just need to get there." Claire took a breath. They may be injured, scared. If we ignore this, they will die, Ben sighed. You both know this could kill us, Luke nodded. Yes. There was a long pause, then Ben pushed off the wall and moved toward engineering controls. Fine, I will warm the drive. Claire smiled slightly and headed for the medical bay. I will prepare emergency kits. Luke allowed himself one small breath of relief. He opened a channel to file their departure notice. It was short and honest, responding to civilian distress call. Risk acknowledged. The human ship detached from the station hours later. It was not beautiful. Its hull bore scars from past missions. Its systems were a mix of old and new, patched and improved over time. The ship jumped toward the fringe. As the vessel entered unstable space, alarms flickered but held steady. The hull vibrated under pressure. Gravity shifted in strange ways. Ben monitored the engines closely. Radiation levels climbing, shields holding. Luke remained in the command chair. His hands were steady. Adjust course. Ride the wave. Claire strapped herself in and checked medical scanners. I am reading multiple life signs at the distress location, faint but present. On the alien convoy, hope had almost faded. Life support flickered. Some compartments were sealed to save air. Injured crew lay on the floors, wrapped in thin thermal sheets. Talron watched the sensor display. The raiders were moving again, weapons powered up. This is Commander Talron, he said into the open channel. If anyone receives this, please know we are grateful. There was no reply. Then the sensors screamed. A new contact appeared, small. Fast, moving in a way that made no sense. Another raider, an officer asked. Talron leaned forward. No, that ship is flying straight through the storm. The raiders paused. They shifted position, uncertain. The unknown ship emerged from the radiation cloud, hull glowing from heat stress. It did not slow. A message burst across all channels. This is human vessel Frontier Star. We received your call. We are inbound. Silence filled the alien bridge. Human. The word carried weight. Fear, stories of Deathworlders who survived storms, wars, and chaos. Talron felt disbelief and dread mix in his chest. They came, someone whispered. On the human ship, Luke watched the alien vessels come into view. Damage was severe. Fires burned in open hull sections. Claire, prepare for casualties, he said. Already ready, she replied. Ben grinned despite the tension. Raiders are backing off. Looks like they did not expect company. Luke narrowed his eyes. They may still attack. The human ship moved between the raiders and the convoy without hesitation. Luke opened a broadcast channel. Unknown hostile vessels. Disengage. These civilians are under human protection. The raiders did not reply. Instead, they charged weapons. Luke leaned forward. Ben. Power routing complete, Ben said. She can take a hit, Claire whispered under her breath. Please hold. The first shot struck the human shields. Energy rippled across the surface, but the ship held. Luke allowed himself a thin smile. They had answered the call. And the galaxy would never forget what followed. Part 2. Into the forbidden dark, the human ship moved steadily into the dark region of space. Stars were few, and the emptiness felt heavy. The crew worked in silence at first, each aware of the danger surrounding them. Radiation storms flickered on the sensors, gravity waves twisted their course, and the very space seemed alive with threat. Captain Luke Carter leaned forward in his chair, eyes fixed on the screen. We keep our course steady, shields up. Engines full power, but stay ready for adjustments. Engineer Ben Turner's hands moved quickly over the controls. I've never seen storms this intense, he muttered. Even old simulations didn't cover this. Medic Claire Evans checked the medical scanners again. Life signs are faint in the convoy. They may not hold out much longer. The aliens watched from their damaged ships. Their wide, luminescent eyes reflected fear and disbelief. Ships they believed abandoned would never survive in this sector had moved toward them. And now they saw the humans navigating the same deadly space. Commander Talron could hardly believe it. These creatures, he whispered to himself. They come where none else dares. The first challenge hit suddenly. A gravity surged through the human ship into a violent spin. Alarms screamed. Ben grunted and twisted the controls. Hold her steady, the hull creaked under stress. Small fires erupted in compartments from overloaded circuits. Luke barked orders. Stabilize shields, reroute auxiliary power. Claire, secure yourself. Claire strapped herself into the med bay chair and monitored every crew member. She saw small spikes in alien heartbeats on her scanner. Fear and hope battled visibly in them. Humans do not hesitate, an alien officer whispered to Talron. They fly into danger as if it is nothing. Talron could not answer. His mind raced, trying to understand their behavior. He remembered stories about Earth, Deathworlders, dangerous, unpredictable. And yet these humans showed calm precision, almost like the storms were familiar to them. Ben adjusted the power flow again. I've got the drive core pushing beyond rated limits, he said with a grin. If this fails, we are toast. Luke did not flinch. Sometimes toast is better than frozen space. Keep her steady. Claire added quietly, they are alive. We can save them. The alien ships, badly damaged, tried to maneuver. Engines sputtered, shields flickered, and air was low. Many feared their species would not survive this. The human ship approached the largest of the convoy ships. Fires burned across its hull and smoke trailed into space. Luke ordered careful alignment. We can take their damaged modules first. Stabilize them before moving to the smaller ships. Talron watched, tense. Humans were boarding not with weapons but with repair drones. Machines extended and connected to the alien ship, welding, patching, and restoring power. This is impossible, an alien engineer whispered. Their machines work faster than ours, and they adapt as they go. The humans did not stop for applause. Claire floated from station to station, offering medical supplies. Injured aliens were helped gently but firmly, their fear of humans slowly shifting. I do not understand, Talron admitted aloud. They are so strong and yet they do not fight us, they just act. Luke spoke into the internal comms. Status report, Ben answered. Ship stabilized, temporary power restored, hull integrity holding. Claire added, life signs improving, minor injuries treated. They will survive this night. Talron turned to his crew. I fear their courage is unmatched. They face storms, raiders, and death itself without hesitation. The raiders, circling, watched too. Their sensors caught the human ship's movements. For the first time, they hesitated. They had expected a simple convoy attack, but instead faced a small, strange ship that moved with confidence and precision in impossible conditions. What are they? A raider commander hissed. They do not fear. Luke adjusted the ship's course, riding through a sudden radiation storm. Energy pulses struck the shields, but the human ship did not falter. Sparks flew along the hull, but Ben kept rerouting power faster than any automated system could. Claire saw aliens trembling at the view of human determination. Some whispered among themselves. Do they not feel fear? One asked. They must, Claire said softly. They just act anyway. For hours, the human ship guided the convoy through the worst hazards. Gravity wells threatened to crush engines, radiation pulses shook the hull, and debris from exploded ships floated like deadly mines. Yet humans adapted. They changed course in seconds, rerouted shields to protect damaged modules, and even shielded alien life support from exposure. Ben looked at Luke. These storms are pushing limits. We cannot hold forever, Luke nodded. We hold as long as we must. We cannot let them die. A smaller alien vessel lost control, tumbling toward a gravity well. Claire used her med bay drone to stabilize its internal systems remotely. The ship's engines responded, and it leveled out, safe for now. Talron could not hide his awe. They are not just helping, he whispered. They are risking themselves, without hesitation, without reward. The aliens began to see a new truth. These humans were born of hardship. They came from a world where death waited at every corner, where only cunning and courage allowed survival. And now they were willing to face death again for others. "We may not survive this storm," Talron said quietly, "but they are teaching us that courage can be shared." Hours passed. The dark space seemed endless. Storm after storm battered both humans and aliens. Radiation burned through shields and debris fields forced sudden maneuvers. Ben grinned through the tension. "This is like flying through a meat grinder, but we're still in one piece." Luke smiled faintly. "Our job is not to complain. It is to protect." Claire floated past a panel checking sensors. "Life signs are stabilizing, morale improving. They are starting to trust us." Talron studied the humans. He realized something deeper than strength. Humans did not act from logic alone. They acted from instinct and empathy, from a belief that life mattered. They acted not because they were ordered, but because they chose to. The raiders watched from a distance, confused. Their attacks would come later, but they could not predict human actions. They could not understand why a smaller, older ship could survive where advanced fleets would fail. Luke set the ship on course again. "Next target, the largest remaining convoy ship. We patch it, stabilize it, and keep moving." Ben nodded, adjusting power distribution. "I hope we are ready for anything." Claire checked the med bay one more time. "We are as ready as we can be. We act, and that is what matters." Talron spoke softly to himself. "I do not know what they are. I do not know why they risk so much. But I know we will live because of them." The convoy began to move more steadily under human guidance. Fires dimmed, engines recovered enough for safe navigation, and the fear in the alien crews began to ease. The stormy region still loomed ahead. Radiation pulses, debris fields, and gravity surges waited, but the aliens no longer faced it alone. And for the first time, they believed someone would answer a call no one else would. Hours passed, and the horizon of dark space stretched endlessly. The human ship, battered but determined, continued forward. Its lights cut through the darkness like a small promise. Claire floated near the observation window. "They are learning from us," she said softly. "Even in fear, courage spreads." Luke remained at the helm, silent. He felt the weight of responsibility but also the strange warmth of purpose. They were not just traveling through space. They were carrying hope. Ben tapped his console. "Storm ahead. Heavy pulse incoming. Hold tight." Luke nodded. "We ride it together." The human ship surged forward into the heart of the danger, and the aliens watched, slowly realizing that survival was not impossible. Courage, stubborn and relentless, had arrived, and the galaxy, silent and cold, would soon remember that humans did not retreat from darkness. They faced it head-on. For those in need, Part 3. Deathworld methods. The human ship moved steadily alongside the alien convoy, guiding damaged ships through the dangerous sector. The dark space around them was alive with hazards. Radiation pulses flashed like ghostly fire, and clouds of debris drifted like mines waiting to strike. Captain Luke Carter gripped the control panel tightly. He had seen storms, gravity surges, and engine failures, but now another problem loomed. The raiders, forced to retreat for a moment, were regrouping. Their long-range sensors picked up the convoy's movement and the human ship. "They are coming back," Ben Turner said, watching the display. "And they look angry." Claire Evans floated past, checking alien life signs. "We can't let them reach the convoy. Too many injured. We have to act." Luke nodded. "Prepare for engagement. Shields full, weapons ready, but our priority is protection, not destruction." The raiders accelerated. Their ships were sleeker, more advanced, and armed with deadly weapons. They had thought they would meet weak, helpless targets. Instead, humans had arrived. Talron, watching from the alien bridge, whispered, "These humans, they do not retreat. They do not fear." The first shots came fast. Energy bolts streaked through space, striking near the human ship. Sparks danced across its shields, but the vessel did not falter. Ben rerouted power, absorbing impact after impact. I'm pushing shields beyond rated limits, Ben muttered. We may not last long if they keep firing. Luke's voice was calm. We buy time, we protect the convoy, act instinctively, trust your training. The raiders aimed at the largest alien transport. Luke's ship moved between them and the target. He used short, sharp maneuvers, weaving through the storm and debris. The human ship was small, but it moved with uncanny precision. Claire monitored injured aliens on her scanners. We can stabilize them if we keep them alive long enough, she said. We must hold. Talrin watched in awe. The humans were not using advanced strategies. They relied on instinct, adaptation, and courage. Every movement was unpredictable, and yet it worked. A smaller raider ship broke away from the main group and tried to flank the human vessel. Luke saw it and smiled faintly. Ben, reroute power to the front shields, we intercept. Ben worked quickly. Front shields at maximum, weapons online. The human ship charged forward. Its hull creaked but held as it rammed past debris and intercepted the raider. The alien on the raider ship could not understand what happened. One moment they were attacking, and the next, the human ship had appeared in their path, shielding the convoy. The raiders were confused, disorganized. They expected predictable human behavior: fear, retreat, hesitation. Instead, they faced a small, battered ship that moved with precision and determination. Luke fired the human ship's defensive pulses. They were not designed to destroy, only to disrupt systems and protect the convoy. Raider sensors flickered, weapons misfired, and ships stumbled. Claire floated toward the aliens, holding small medical kits. She moved fast, treating injuries as explosions shook the airless corridors of alien ships. Many of the aliens had never seen humans act this way. They were fearless, and their care was methodical, calm, and firm. Talrin whispered to his officers, "These humans fight, yes, but they also save. They protect as they strike. It is extraordinary." Another raider moved to strike from above. Luke tilted the human ship, using gravity waves to push the raider into debris. Ben monitored power and temperature as the shields absorbed minor damage. "I've never seen flying like this," Ben muttered. "It's reckless, but it works." Luke's eyes narrowed. Reckless is a word for those who do not understand survival. Hold your focus. Protect the convoy. The human tactics were confusing to the aliens. The raiders could not anticipate them. Humans exploited environmental hazards, using debris and radiation bursts as weapons. They pressed dangerously close to storms, using sudden maneuvers to confuse attackers. Talrin whispered again, "Deathworlders. This is why they survive in our stories. Instincts honed by danger. Nothing else can explain it." The raiders regrouped for another attack. They underestimated humans, but their arrogance was a mistake. Luke's ship moved fast, unpredictable, dodging attacks while guiding alien ships through the safest paths. Ben shouted, "Storm ahead, large gravity wave coming." Luke adjusted instantly. "Use the wave, shield the convoy." The ship rode the gravity surge, pushing the raiders into disarray. One of the raiders hit debris and tumbled, disabled. Another misfired, its energy bolt striking empty space. Claire worked frantically, moving through human corridors, monitoring medical drones, stabilizing alien crews. "We are holding. We can save them all if this continues." Talrin watched, feeling hope for the first time. "They risk themselves for us. They are not like any species I know." Hours passed in a blur of motion, attacks, and evasive maneuvers. The humans guided each alien ship, patched damaged systems, and kept life signs stable. They fought not with raw power, but with ingenuity, instinct, and courage. Ben tapped a panel, rerouting energy to shields. "We are almost out of reserves. If they push again, we may not survive." Luke studied the approaching raiders. "Then we make the next move count. We finish this, protect the convoy, and survive. We act as one." The humans pressed forward, using environmental hazards against the raiders. Debris fields became traps. Radiation bursts masked their movements. Close maneuvers disrupted radar targeting systems. The aliens began to understand. Humans were not simply strong. They used experience, instinct, and intuition developed from a harsh, dangerous world. They were Deathworlders, survivors who thrived in places others could not endure. Claire monitored alien life signs, noting improvements. They trust us now. Their fear is turning to hope. Talrin whispered almost to himself. We did not call for monsters, and yet we received them. Monsters born of a world that shapes them to survive everything. The raiders, desperate and confused, made a final attempt. Their fleet concentrated on the largest alien ship. Luke anticipated their move. He charged forward, using the last of the human ship's reserves to create a shield barrier between the raiders and the convoy. Ben worked faster than ever. Overload shields. Divert all auxiliary power. We may break them or break ourselves. Claire braced for impact. Hold steady. Everyone hold steady. The human ship surged forward, shielding the alien transport. Energy bolts struck the shields and bounced off. Sparks flew, systems screamed under stress, but the humans held. The raiders' coordinated attack failed. Talrin could hardly believe his eyes. They do not fear, they do not retreat, they do not yield. Even under fire they hold. After several tense minutes, the raiders disengaged. They retreated, damaged and confused. They had expected easy prey, not humans willing to risk everything for others. Luke leaned back slightly, breathing heavily. We are not out of danger, but the convoy is safe for now. Ben wiped sweat from his brow. I cannot believe we made it. That was insane. Claire floated past, tending to minor injuries in humans and aliens alike. We did it. We protected them. Talrin looked at the humans, awe in his voice. I cannot explain it. They are small, their technology older than ours, yet they survive and fight where we would die. They are Deathworlders in every sense. The convoy moved slowly, guided by the human ship. Fires burned less fiercely, hulls were patched, injured aliens were stabilized. Luke kept a steady eye on the sensors. We hold formation, we continue. The danger is not over. But together we can survive, Ben grinned. Reckless, instinctive, impossible, humans at their best, Claire smiled faintly. And humane at their core, that is what saves lives. Talrin whispered to his officers, we have learned something tonight. The galaxy may see humans as unpredictable, dangerous, or foolish. But we have seen their courage, their instinct, their heart. They are guardians born of a world that could have killed them, yet made them strong. As the convoy moved forward through the dangerous sector, the humans remained at the forefront, leading, protecting, and surviving. The aliens slowly realized the truth. Survival was not just about strength. It was about courage, instinct, and the willingness to risk everything for others. And in this dark corner of the galaxy, humans had shown what Deathworlders were truly capable of. Part 4. The cost of answering the convoy had survived the first attack, but the damage was severe. Alien ships floated slowly through dark space, engines sputtering, life support systems weak, and fires smoldering in open compartments. The human ship hovered near the largest transport, its hull battered, shields flickering and systems strained to the limit. Captain Luke Carter surveyed the convoy through the main screen. We've held them off, but we are not out of danger. Status report, he said, keeping his voice calm despite exhaustion. Engineer Ben Turner tapped the console rapidly. Shields are barely holding. Engines are overworked. If we take another hit, we could lose power entirely. Medic Claire Evans floated past, her hands moving over the medical panels. Injured are stable for now, but we can't ignore stress or fatigue. They are weak, scared, and some may not make it without proper care. The aliens were in shock. They had never seen any species risk themselves so completely for others. Commander Talrin observed the humans quietly. They came into impossible danger, he whispered. Not because of duty, not because of reward, but because they chose to. They are extraordinary. Luke turned to his crew. "We need to stabilize the convoy before anything else. Prioritize life support, then propulsion, then shields. Work quickly but carefully." Ben nodded. "I can reroute auxiliary power to critical systems. It will strain the hull, but it may buy us time." Claire moved among the aliens, offering medical aid. She touched the arm of a young alien officer, applying a healing gel to burns and abrasions. "This will help," she said softly. "You are safe now." The alien officer stared at her, eyes wide. "We did not expect help. No one comes here willingly." Claire smiled faintly. "Humans do. We act when others cannot." The crew worked tirelessly. Ben rerouted power and repaired damaged subsystems. Sparks flew, alarms rang, and the ship groaned under strain. Luke coordinated maneuvers to keep the convoy stable while avoiding hazards. Outside, the remnants of the raider fleet lingered at the edge of sensor range. They were wary now. The humans had proven unpredictable, capable, and dangerous in ways no one had anticipated. Talron watched the humans and whispered to his officers, "They are not invincible, yet they face fear and exhaustion and still protect us." That is courage unlike any we have known. Hours passed. The human ship took heavy strain, but Ben managed to stabilize the engines and shields temporarily. Claire treated minor injuries and provided support to the aliens, calming their fear with gentle words and steady hands. "We are holding," Luke said quietly, "but repairs won't last forever. We need a plan for full restoration once we reach safer space." Talron studied the humans, realizing their strength was more than physical. They do not panic, they adapt. They think, act, and protect. That is what makes them formidable. Suddenly, a damaged alien vessel began to drift toward a gravity anomaly. Its engines were weak and it could not correct course. "We cannot let it fall," Claire said urgently. Luke responded immediately. "Ben, prepare auxiliary thrusters." "I'll take the ship close and stabilize it manually." Ben nodded and worked rapidly. Thrusters online, ready to support. Luke guided the human ship alongside the drifting vessel, carefully compensating for gravity fluctuations. Sparks erupted from the human ship's hull as it scraped against debris, but he held steady. Claire directed medical drones into the alien ship, stabilizing injured crew and monitoring life support. Slowly, the drifting ship stabilized. Its engines responded to the combined efforts of Luke and Ben. Talron could not hide his astonishment. "They risk themselves for us, and they save even those who may not survive. Such courage, it cannot be understood easily." Hours continued in this rhythm. Human ingenuity and determination kept the convoy alive. Ben patched engines and shields in ways that defied standard engineering. Luke piloted through dangers others would flee. Claire tended to aliens with calm efficiency, showing empathy in every action. The aliens began to see humans differently. They were no longer unpredictable monsters. They were protectors, born from a world that demanded survival in harsh conditions. Their actions inspired hope where despair had ruled. As night passed, another challenge emerged. Fires broke out in one of the smaller transports. Life support was failing and the hull threatened to breach. Luke's voice was firm. "We can't leave them. Prepare boarding drones. Ben, Claire, we need full coordination." Ben set up drones to stabilize the hull and repair engine conduits. Claire monitored life signs and treated injured crew remotely. Luke piloted close, using the human ship to shield the alien vessel from floating debris. The work was exhausting, but the humans never hesitated. Every action was precise, purposeful, and calculated. The aliens watched silently, learning and beginning to trust. Talron said quietly, "We may have called for help, but they have taught us something far greater. Courage is more powerful than any weapon." During a brief lull, Luke checked the crew. "We hold for now, but we are all stretched thin. Focus on what is critical. We save lives first, everything else second." Ben wiped sweat from his brow. "Engines are strained, but they can hold. Shields are weak, but operational. Claire floated past a group of aliens offering food and warmth. "You are safe. We are with you. Stay calm and trust us." The aliens, for the first time in hours, allowed themselves to relax slightly. Fear was still present, but it was tempered by hope. They were alive because these humans chose to act, to face danger without hesitation. Night passed slowly. The human ship and the convoy moved forward. Luke piloted with careful skill, avoiding debris, radiation bursts, and gravity anomalies. Ben monitored systems, rerouting power when needed. Claire tended to all injured beings, human and alien alike. Talrin observed quietly. They are more than survivors. They are guardians, shaped by a world that teaches them to endure everything. They act because it is the right thing, not because they are forced. Suddenly, one of the smallest alien ships began to fail completely. Its engine sputtered and life support alarms rang loudly. Luke's voice was calm but urgent. "Claire, prepare medical drones." "Ben, stabilize engines. We cannot lose this ship." Ben worked quickly, rerouting auxiliary power to critical engine systems. Sparks flew and panels cracked under stress. The ship groaned. Claire deployed medical drones into the alien ship, stabilizing life support and monitoring crew. "They will live," she said firmly. "Hold on." Luke guided the human ship alongside, using gravity fluctuations to push the alien ship out of danger. The maneuver was risky but necessary. The aliens watched in disbelief. Humans risked their lives repeatedly, and yet they continued without complaint, without hesitation. Talrin whispered to his officers, "They act not from fear, not from obligation, but from will. They choose to save us. This is something we have never known." Hours passed again, and the convoy stabilized. Fires were under control, engines partially repaired, and life signs improving. The humans were exhausted, their ship battered, but their determination remained. Luke took a moment to speak to his crew. "We have done well, but the cost is high. Rest if you can. We continue when ready. The convoy's survival depends on us." Ben leaned back, breathing heavily. "Never thought I'd see so much damage in one mission. Yet we did it." Claire smiled softly. "We act when others cannot. We protect. That is what matters." Talrin reflected on the humans' actions. "We have called for help, and they have given themselves completely. They are not gods nor warriors, but something far greater. They are life's guardians, shaped by hardship, guided by courage." The convoy moved forward, slowly but steadily, under human guidance. Though the dark region was far from safe, hope now traveled with them. The aliens began to see humans as protectors, not monsters. Luke, Ben, and Claire continued their work. They patched, repaired, stabilized, and guided. Every decision mattered. Every action saved lives. And in the darkness of a dangerous corner of the galaxy, humans showed their true nature: courageous, resourceful, and unyielding. They did not fight for glory or reward. They fought for life itself, and that choice made all the difference. For the first time, the aliens realized that the galaxy had underestimated humans. They were not merely survivors. They were Deathworlders, born from harsh conditions, tempered by struggle, and capable of protecting even strangers from certain death. And the cost of answering a call for help was not just risk. It was proof that humanity's courage could change the fate of others, even in the most hopeless situations. Part 5. A new place in the galaxy, the human ship moved steadily ahead, guiding the damaged convoy through the dark space. The journey had been long, exhausting, and dangerous, but the immediate threat of raiders had passed. Still, the sector was not safe. Radiation bursts flickered in the distance, and gravity anomalies could strike without warning. Every move required careful attention. Captain Luke Carter sat in the command chair, surveying the convoy ahead. Alien ships followed in formation, engines weak but operational. Fires were under control, life support stabilized, and injured crew were alive thanks to Claire's careful care. Ben Turner tapped the console repeatedly. "Shields holding for now, engines stable. We can make it, but it will be close. Claire Evans checked the medical scanners again. All life signs are stable. No critical injuries, but exhaustion is high. We need to keep moving steadily. Commander Talrin watched from his bridge. His eyes followed the human ship closely. They have guided us through storms, gravity wells, and enemy attacks, and they remain steady, calm, and focused. How can such small beings carry so much courage? Luke turned to his crew. We continue at this pace. Keep the convoy stable, avoid unnecessary risks, and be ready for any emergency. We will reach safe space, but only if we act together. Hours passed. The dark sector stretched endlessly, filled with unseen dangers. Debris fields floated like hidden traps. Radiation pulses ignited without warning. Gravity anomalies tugged at the ships unpredictably. Ben adjusted the power flow. I've rerouted auxiliary systems again. Shields can hold another pulse, maybe two. Engines, we are running at the edge, Captain, Luke nodded. We hold. Nothing else matters but getting them to safety. Claire floated through the corridors, checking alien life signs. Many aliens had grown calmer. Their fear was replaced with cautious hope. They watched the humans with respect and admiration. A young alien officer approached Talrin. Commander, they are incredible. They risk everything for us, and yet they do not boast. They do not demand anything. Why do they do this? Talrin did not answer immediately. He observed Luke coordinating maneuvers, Ben fixing damaged systems on the fly, and Claire providing care without hesitation. Finally, he said softly, because they value life. They act because it is right. They do not wait for reward or recognition. The convoy reached a sector where gravity anomalies were less frequent. Luke allowed the human ship to adjust speed. We still need to be cautious. Storms can come suddenly, but at least we have some breathing room. Ben wiped sweat from his brow. I never thought I'd be glad for a lull. Engines and shields need rest, and so do we, Claire smiled softly. A moment to breathe is welcome. We've earned it, and so have they. Outside, the aliens watched the human ship. They could not fully understand it, but they knew this. Humans were extraordinary. They were not the unstoppable machines some believed them to be. They were survivors, guided by instinct, courage, and care for others. Hours passed in this cautious progress. Luke piloted carefully, Ben monitored systems, and Claire tended to the aliens. Each moment brought them closer to safety, but also closer to the limits of human endurance. Talrin spoke to his crew. We may survive this journey because of them. Not just because they fight, but because they think, adapt, and care. That is a strength we have not seen before. The aliens whispered among themselves. Some spoke of Earth, the Deathworld humans' home, with curiosity and awe. Others spoke quietly of courage and instinct, qualities humans showed in every maneuver, every repair, every act of care. Suddenly, the convoy passed through a dangerous debris field. One of the smaller alien vessels lost control, spinning toward a massive rock cluster. Luke reacted instantly. Ben, shields to maximum, auxiliary thrusters ready. Claire, prepare medical drones. Ben's fingers moved rapidly over the console. Power surged into the shields. Luke steered the ship closer to intercept the drifting alien vessel. Sparks flew as the human ship brushed against debris, but he held steady. Claire deployed medical drones into the alien vessel, stabilizing life support and monitoring crew conditions. Slowly, the small ship responded. Engines realigned and it floated safely under human guidance. Talrin could barely believe what he saw. They risked their lives, their ship, their very survival for us. How can such small beings be so brave? Hours turned into the long stretch of the journey. The convoy began to move with more confidence, guided by humans who had faced the impossible repeatedly and yet never faltered. Luke spoke quietly to his crew. We are nearly there. Keep focus. The final stretch is critical. We must get everyone alive. Ben grinned tiredly. This has been the most intense mission of my life, but I wouldn't trade it. Seeing them alive, it's worth every risk. Claire floated past, adjusting medical systems. They will survive because we chose to act. That is what matters. The alien convoy slowly entered the safer region of space. Stars became brighter, signals clearer, and hazards fewer. The humans maintained formation, ensuring that every ship passed safely. Talrin addressed his officers. We owe our survival to them. Every life saved, every injury treated, we live because they acted when no one else would. One of the alien officers turned to Talrin. We must remember this. Humanity is remarkable. Their courage, their care, their strength, it is unlike anything we have known. Luke allowed the human ship to fall slightly behind, giving aliens space to recover. Systems were damaged, supplies stretched, and crew exhausted. Ben leaned against a console. We made it this far. Hull integrity is low, but we survived. Again. Claire floated through the corridors, checking humans and aliens alike. We are not finished yet. Everyone needs rest, but no one is in immediate danger. That is progress. Talrin watched quietly, absorbing everything. We will tell the galaxy. The humans came. They faced dangers no one else would face, and they protected us. That is a story worth remembering. The aliens began to move more confidently. Engines functioned better, systems stabilized, and life support ran smoothly. Fear was replaced with cautious optimism. They had survived because humans had chosen to intervene, to risk everything, to act where others would hesitate. Luke addressed the convoy over the universal translator. You are safe for now. Continue your course to the nearest star system. We will follow until you are fully clear. Talrin's voice trembled slightly as he replied, Thank you, humans. We will never forget what you have done. Claire smiled gently. You survived. That is what matters. Hours later, the convoy reached a secure region near a friendly trade hub. Alien ships docked, repaired systems, and received assistance. Humans remained nearby, ensuring safety until life signs were stable. Talrin gathered his crew and spoke. We called for help and received humans. We feared monsters as our stories warned. Instead, we received guardians. They risked their lives, saved ours, and showed courage beyond imagination. The galaxy will remember this day. The aliens began to discuss Earth differently. Previously, humans were feared, seen as unpredictable and dangerous. Now they were seen as protectors, strong not just in power but in character. Their instinct, courage, and compassion were a force the galaxy could not ignore. Luke and his crew prepared to leave. The human ship was damaged, systems stressed, but they had fulfilled their mission. Ben smiled faintly. We made it, barely, but we did. Claire floated near the command chair. And everyone lives, that is what matters. Mission accomplished. Luke looked back at the convoy, feeling a deep sense of purpose. We acted because it was right, not for reward, not for recognition, but because they called and we could answer. That is enough. Talrin watched silently as the humans prepared to depart. They changed our understanding of courage, of life, of hope. Earth sent Deathworlders, and we learned something greater than fear or power. We learned what true guardians look like. The convoy waved, signaling gratitude as the human ship left the star system. Though the humans asked for nothing, the aliens knew their debt could never be repaid. As the human ship sailed back into deep space, Luke Carter looked at his crew. We answered a call. We risked everything, and we survived. That is what humans do. That is what being a Deathworlder means, Ben nodded. We faced storms, raiders, and death itself, and we lived. Because we act, because we endure, Claire smiled softly. And because we care. That is our strength beyond anything else. Talrin whispered as he watched from the convoy. Earth's Deathworlders are not monsters, they are guardians. The galaxy has underestimated them, but no more. The story of today will live on, as long as life itself remembers courage. The humans disappeared into the stars, battered but unbroken. The aliens began repairs, told stories of courage, and recorded the events in their history. They had been saved not by machines, not by numbers, but by beings shaped by a harsh world, tempered by struggle and guided by instinct and compassion. In the darkness of space, the galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary. A species once feared and dismissed had become a symbol of hope, courage, and selfless protection. The story of humans, the Deathworlders who answered a call no one else would travel far and wide. It was a story not of conquest, not of power, but of courage, sacrifice, and the choice to act for the sake of life. And Earth's place in the galaxy was forever changed, not by fear, but by the undeniable proof of humanity's strength and heart.